Hello, I'm Sue Romanoff, and today we're joined by the CEO of AFT, a commercial stage specialty pharma company based in New Zealand with global distribution. Welcome, Hartley.
Hi, thanks very much, Sue.
Great. So, could you start with an introduction with AFT and your business model?
Sure, we're a business that's listed on the Australian, New Zealand stock exchanges, and we have a large sort of sales force around Australia and around New Zealand. We focus on a number of therapeutic areas, but also as well as that, we do conduct our own research and development with novel patented products, and we sell those around the rest of the globe. And we also have a number of offices in different jurisdictions. So literally we're in about 8 to 10 countries around the world. And then we have licensees or distributors in around 70 countries around the world.
Yeah, I mean, your flagship product, Maxigesic, makes up 20% of your revenues. Can you tell us a little bit more about the product and the anticipated growth?
Yeah, look, Maxigesic is a patented combination of paracetamol or acetaminophen and ibuprofen. Has a synergistic ratio, and we have a number of different dose forms going from a tablet to a rapidly dissolving nanotechnology tablet to oral liquid to an intravenous formulation. This is currently our largest selling product, and we are launching that around the world, literally in those 70 countries that I talked about. And over the next few years, we would anticipate that increasing to over 100 countries around the globe.
Yeah, I mean, you have some other key products in your portfolio. A number of them are market leaders in their categories. Could you recap those briefly also?
We also do try and diversify our product sales. We have very strong positions in the Australian and New Zealand markets where, for example, we're the number one selling lubricating eye drop in the whole Australian market. And Aussie's a nice, good-sized market for dry eye because it's hot and it's a dry place, so it's certainly a good-sized market. New Zealand, for example, we're number one allergy company in the whole market. And then we have other positions as well. So we certainly have some good, strong marketing positions supported by a good sales force, a large sales force, and also sales and marketing effort as well.
Yeah, I mean, 80% of your revenues comes from the domestic New Zealand market, Australian, New Zealand market. I think international expansion is your key focus now. Could you cover off the key drivers and geographies you're looking at?
We really see this as holding a lot of potential going forwards, although having said that, we still see expansion within our existing home markets. But we're set up well in Singapore, in Malaysia, and Hong Kong, and that's effectively driving our Asian business. So we do see a lot of potential going forward in large, complex markets like China. And then we're also set up, recently purchased a company in South Africa based out of Cape Town. We see that as a good pivot for the sort of South Africa and Southern Africa. And then also in North America, we've set up an office in Detroit in the United States and also Toronto in Canada. So we're using that to drive and work on our North American sales, which obviously is a really big market. And then in Europe, we have a reasonable sized sales office in London where we sort of have a big operation that we're working on in the UK. But then we also are working in Europe. We have a separate office in Ireland, based in the south of Ireland, and we have a number of projects and things that are spreading out across the EU markets as well. So, yeah, that's our kind of expansion, certainly outside our home territories.
Yeah, it was nice to see your successful U.S. launch of Maxigesic IV and rapid formulations. How important has that been for you, and what has the traction been so far?
Look, the first launch was our Maxigesic, although in the US it's called Combogesic, intravenous, and that was launched by Hikma, which is the third largest supplier of injectables to the United States market. That was launched in February. I still think it's early days. We normally find key parameters of things like getting listings on hospital formularies. Normally that does take a period of time, and that's still very much a work in progress. And then for the tablets or the Combogesic rapid formulation, we're in the process literally of launching that next month in October. And we're launching that through a couple of companies as distributors, including Hikma, and we're actually also having follow-on discussions with a further company to increase our coverage in the United States market.
Yeah, I mean, in the US, we have an opioid crisis here. So I think safer alternatives are probably an important factor. I mean, is that a key differentiator in your opinion?
That was one of really the drivers behind starting our Maxigesic drug development. We recognised literally well over 10 years ago that opioids were a serious problem. The challenge, though, is I think doctors need lots of alternatives. You can't just tell doctors off all the time, say, don't do this, don't do that. You need to give them viable alternatives, and this is our aim, where Combogesic or Maxigesic is very much a product for moderate pain, helps to avoid the use of opioids or to minimise them in severe pain, and really gives doctors an alternative to help them try and avoid opioids in their patients.
Yeah, I mean, China is also has been a difficult market for most international folks to enter, but I think you're doing a good job there, and maybe you can help us understand your strategy and your current progress.
Look, we have for a while had a cross-border e-commerce strategy, which is really like dipping your toe in the water, and that's going okay, and it's like more than double this year's sales on last year. But really the key is the internal China sales. We've got approval of our first product called Cristaderm in the China market, and what we've done is we've formed a distribution agreement with a significant China state drug company. We see that as a good partner because they have good connections into hospitals and into doctors. The usual is well-funded, being owned by the Chinese government. So, yeah, look, we're working closely with Haiyao, which is a company based in Hainan. And, yeah, look, we're working to really tackle and get to grips with the China market. But mainly they'll be the drivers, and that's really the key thing, local experts driving it.
Yeah, I mean, even with this broad portfolio of marketed drugs here, you're still focusing a lot of your efforts on R&D. Maybe you can kind of highlight some of the exciting products in the development pipeline.
Yeah, look, we see our own R&D pipeline as an important part of our business development going forward. We run all our R&D ourselves, I should add. So our own clinical studies are run by our own staff, and we do that very cost effectively. We've got a really nice pipeline, we believe. We've got a number of dermatology products. We've got a product for strawberry birthmarks, another product for keloid scars, another product for a female health condition called VLS, and also a product called Pascoma for an orphan drug disease as well. So that's our dermatology portfolio. And then in the pain area, we have development for burning mouth syndrome, which is actually an under-recognised condition, but quite common. Then in eye care, we've got an eye drop for treating antibiotic-resistant eye infections. This product's commonly compounded at the moment. We know most major regulators, like, for example, US, don't like drug compounding, so we see that, as a relatively low-risk pathway that'll be supported by the regulator. We have a drug delivery system called NasoSurf, which is a very efficient drug delivery system. The technology actually originated from Russian scientists, and for better or worse, certainly the Russians are very good at technology and science, and it's a really interesting system. And then we're also looking at a potential novel chemical entity that we're licensing in at the moment, and that's our kind of last of our big projects for our R&D pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. I mean, you've had really great growth despite that. I think the 200 million New Zealand revenue targets really, really within reach, right? So the next one is probably 300 million. When do you expect to achieve that by, and what's driving all that growth?
I think we can confidently say during this financial year, we've well and truly passed that 200 million, which is great. We see, it's always hard to put an exact date on it and say this date, but, we see that within the next sort of 2.5 to 3 years, we're aiming at reaching that $300 million target, and then we can start focusing on the next target.
Yeah. So, we've covered a lot here, so maybe you can cover off the key catalysts and milestones investors should look for in the next 12 to 18 months.
Look, for us, what we're really working on is the launch of the Combogesic tablet in the US market and building that, and then, seeing further growth in the intravenous with Hikma getting more hospital listings, which we're confident that they will. The Cristoderm launch in China should happen towards the end of this calendar year, and then obviously it's building the sales from that. There's a very large population in China that can use this product, so that's certainly very attractive. And then it's taking some of our other markets, like where we're just starting, like the UK, Canada and South Africa, where, they're all nice markets with good potential size, and really it's sort of getting those going and building them in a meaningful manner over the next sort of few years.
That's awesome. Thank you, Harley, for the update. Thank you all for joining us here today. If you'd like to learn more about AFT, please refer to edisongroup.com. Thank you.
Thank you.